Welcome everyone, and welcome to our replay viewers. As usual, we are especially glad that you have joined us, even if you weren't able to join us right at 3 o'clock. Coming up today on Activate Live, we'll learn how the Winpisinger Education and Technology Center was created, and we hope you give us some feedback on your time there if you ever took a class as part of your Machinist Union training. So we hope that you'll share your comments about each class that we discuss. I am sitting here right now with Chris Wagner, who is the director of the Winpisinger Center, and he's going to be our guest, and we have probably about one more minute before we go. But thanks for being here, Chris.
Well, thanks very much for the invitation. It's great to have this opportunity to talk about the work we do at the Harbor.
No problem.
Yeah.
We call this our pre-show. It's like the show before the show.
Oh, very good.
It gives us a chance to start our stream.
All right.
So I'm looking on this computer here, and I can see it, and it's working. That's great.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yes, I see Nicole Fears and Bill Lipinski just joined us.
Oh, fantastic.
Thanks
good
so
deal.
much, Nicole. Let's see. It's still 2:59.
Okay.
One more minute.
All
We're
right.
giving people time to join, and we're giving all of the streams, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, time to notify people. Craig Hughes joined. Kyle Winkle. Hey, Kyle. Aberdeen, Washington. Bill Lipinski says, hi, Chris.
And hi to you, Bill.
Nicole Fears says, W3 created was the start of my successful leadership.
Fantastic.
It's good to hear, Nicole.
It's good to hear from Nicole.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Well, it's 3 o'clock. Activate Live starts now.
Activate your voice.
Fight for your right.
Speak up.
Speak out. We're union and we're proud.
Go Union.
Live from Maryland, this is Activate Live.
The future of our organization lies in the hands of its leadership. It's getting tougher and tougher to do the job. And what we need now is training and those skills that are necessary to meet the challenges of tomorrow.
That was former General Secretary Treasurer Eugene Glover talking about the William W. Winpisinger Education and Technology Center in Hollywood, Maryland. Welcome to Activate Live, our weekly show about the Machinist Union, organized labor, and workers of North America. I'm Tanya Hutchins in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. We'll have more on the Winpisinger Center in just a moment. But first, here's what's going on with our union. We start out in our Western Territory. More than 300 IAM District 751 members attended a member solidarity conference last weekend in Seattle. Now we have District 751 President John Holden, along with International President Bob Martinez and Western Territory General Vice President Gary Allen. Staff provided information on pay disparity, the Membership Bill of Rights, job safety, and the power of solidarity. We all have to stick together. IAM Local 1943 in Ohio unveiled a new apprenticeship program with AK Steel. Now, President and Directing Business Representative Neil Douglas has been announcing it to the membership. The 18-month program allows members in production jobs at the company to earn state certification in maintenance mechanics and become eligible to work in maintenance at AK Steel. 30 employees are currently enrolled in this new program. We always love apprenticeships. Well, IAM staff members are on the ground trying to help Machinist Union members affected by Hurricane Michael. Now, we have a look at some of the devastation in Lynnhaven, Florida, about 15 minutes north of Panama City. This is in that Mexico Beach area, not far from there, a little bit northwest. Now, a lot of the members of Local 2003 have been affected, but also helping out as well. One of them is Rob Bean, who's a member of Local 2003, and he's been using his truck to take donations and supplies to hurricane victims. So we thank Rob for his service to the community. And if you at home want to help, you can donate to the IM Assistance Fund. It provides financial assistance to members in need after natural disasters. Just text IAM HELP to 55,000. That's IAM HELP to 55,000. Thank you to all who have donated so far. Well, this Friday marks the 37-year anniversary of the William W. Winpisinger Education and Technology Center, the IAM's training facility in Hollywood, Maryland, which is about an hour or so south of Washington, D.C. It's where our members learn to be unionists who care and strive for Economic and Social Justice. Since 1981, more than 60,000 students have been trained at this center. That's a great stat. So many students have been through there, through locals, through districts, through our territories as well. So look at that, 60,000 students trained since 1981. And a few years later, there was a young education representative named Chris Wagner who taught there starting in 1989. Now, Chris is now the director of the Winpisinger Center, and he joins us, but look at this first. Can you believe that? That's Chris Wagner, the director of the William W. Winpisinger Center. Chris, you've come a long way.
Oh, holy cow. I had no idea that was on videotape. That's unbelievable.
We surprised Chris with that one.
Yes, you did. That's for sure.
So can you go back to when you first started in 1989 as that young education rep? What was the center like back then?
So in many respects, the work of the center has continued on in the same manner. But then we were a much smaller facility. The new wing had not been added, and the level of programming that we did was not as broad or as frequent. And one of the things that occurred as a consequence of convention action in the 1990s, and as a result of the Blue Ribbon Commission, was to expand the work so that education would be more broadly available. But I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to learn from a lot of the then leaders of the IAM, to learn about the IAM and its commitment to social justice and to transforming workplaces.
Do you remember what some of those early courses were that you taught?
Sure. So one of the first classes I was involved in teaching was computer technology. We used a program called WordStar. We used Sperry Rand computers. And thinking back then, it's just how the world has changed so dramatically in terms of our access to information technology and the use and integration of that technology into the work that we do on behalf of working people.
The 80s, just think about that.
It's unbelievable.
30 years ago,
Yeah.
just starting to use computers.
Yeah.
And it's changed labor education.
It has. I mean, it's integrated into everything we do at the Winpisinger Center. We now have a 30-station computer lab that's used in many of our programs. We work very closely with many of the departments here at headquarters to support the work that they do. We do a lot of work with the communications department. They do a broad range of programming as it relates to website development, as it relates to bringing information using the latest technology, Facebook and social media, to our members. So it's been a remarkable transition in terms of how that technology is used.
And we actually have a news writing class coming up in January, so we'll give you more information on that later on, but we're excited. We're going to put some plugs in there.
Sure.
Because we're getting near the end of the year right now, but classes are still going on this week, and there will be a chance for everyone, in the next few weeks to sign up for classes in January. Yeah,
so one of the big milestones that occurs annually at the Winpisinger Center is the adoption of the calendar for the next year. And so the 2019 calendar has been adopted, and shortly, next week, it'll be flowing out on our website. And those dates for leadership schools and the calls to the locals will go out. Departments have been notified of the dates of their programs, and shortly they'll be making announcements as well. We've also notified the territories of when we'll be holding the staff programs. So again, it's always exciting to look forward to the year ahead, to think about the challenges that exist. But also we'll be going until the second week in December. So we still have a number of weeks of programming ahead of us, and looking forward to that.
Leadership 1 is one of the most popular courses. Tell us a little bit about that and the importance of making sure that we have new leaders and young leaders who will take over this union one day and just have to have the skills that they need.
Yeah, the Leadership 1 program is very much sort of the foundation of the work we do in terms of education. And really it's an opportunity for people who may come in as members, maybe activists, maybe stewards, maybe officers, maybe people who are just trying to figure out, is this a kind of work that they want to be actively engaged in? And for them to have the opportunity to learn about the union movement, it's just remarkable to be a part of that process and to see oftentimes a transformation that occurs for a member while they're there at the Winpisinger Center. Oftentimes members come to the harbor with this notion that somehow they're struggling alone, the challenges they're facing are unique to them. And one of the things and the ways in which their eyes get opened is the opportunity to understand that oftentimes the issues they confront are confronted by members all over North America, in Canada and in the United States. And I think that brings a real source of comfort. I'm not in this alone. There's people who are facing this just like I am, and there's people that I can learn from. I can learn from my brothers and sisters about things that they've tried, what's worked, what's not worked. And that's just, it's remarkable to be a part of that process and to see that process occur.
You know, you mentioned Canada, and it reminded me that you have classes in 3 different languages. I mean, that's incredible that you're able to offer those classes.
Yeah, there's been a historic commitment in the IAM to make education broadly available. And consistent with that tradition and that mission, we offer programming in English, French, and Spanish. And so again, as we see the transformation occur in our union demographically, we want to make sure that the broadest possible education is available to the membership. And that means having programming in a language in which people find accessible. So we think it's a really important thing to do, and it really positions us for the future.
I like the fact that you can take leadership, and then you could take leadership 2, advanced leadership, and then train the trainer. So it's like a sequence, or I don't know what you called it in the academic world, but...
You know, it is structured chronologically as a sequence, so there is the opportunity to come to Leadership 1, to learn some new information, and then to go back and to put that information to use in the workplace, and to reflect on that experience and say, these things really seem to work. I tried this, it didn't really work in the way that I expected, but to really sort of try the learning that you acquired at the Winpisinger Center, and then to come back in Leadership 2 and to share what you've learned during that period of time, add additional skills, continue that process of reflection and learning, bring that back for advanced leadership. And then recognizing that this is not education that's solely for an individual, but it's education that's for the membership as a whole. So equipping people that they can take back and share that knowledge with their sisters and brothers, whether it's in their workplace or in their local. But really that's what the Train the Trainer program's about.
So do you recommend that people not do them back to back then? Go back to the local, do what you can for a while, and then come back for the next one?
Yeah, so the programs are structured. You can only take Leadership 1 in 1 year, and then you have to essentially wait and take it the following year for Leadership 2, and the same from 2 to Advanced. But again, a little bit of an opportunity to go back and try things out, take it on a shakedown cruise, see what works and what doesn't work, I think is really valuable. And it really sort of aids in the learning process. Members have the opportunity to reflect and also to talk about their experiences. So we think that's a really positive thing.
Well, we have a lot of comments coming in here, and we're going to put some of them up on the screen because we have a lot of members who have taken classes and want to give you a shout out.
Sure.
We have Craig Hughes here saying, "Hey Chris, thanks for your continued support." He said he had a great class with the Maine loggers, lobsters.
Yeah, no, so we've been fortunate. So we have a regular fixed curricula that we do, but then we also work with the territories to support them, whether it's in an organizing initiative or other meetings that they would like to conduct that require facilitation or support. So we were very pleased to be able to host at the Winpisinger Center last week the Maine loggers. And so they were in for a discussion sort of trying to understand what was occurring in their industry and how collective action might benefit them as a group. So it was a remarkable group. They did remarkable work. So very exciting.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have immediate action that you're taking related to the industry. So I'm so glad they were able to be there.
Yeah, you know, and bringing people together. I mean, that's what we do in the labor movement. It's what we do in the IAM. Is the one unique skill set that we possess is that notion of bringing people together for the purpose of collective action so that they might improve their own circumstance. How that plays out in every industry might vary slightly, but at the root of it all is collective action to make sure that people have dignity and fairness and respect in their workplaces.
We have Nicole Fears saying that W3 created her the start of her successful leadership. W3 is what we affectionately call the William W. Winpisinger Education and Technology Center, so you'll see that a lot. Hunter Scott says, see you in December for organizing one.
Fantastic.
And we had Dave Lynnhaven earlier saying what a great center the Education Center is. So it's really made a big impact on a lot of people.
So one of the things, Nicole's comment about helping her develop, I mean, one of the things that as an educator that you can hope for is that one day you'll report to somebody who was once in your class. So people have the opportunity to develop and learn, and then to be able to have a broader impact in the organization. And our goal is, again, to equip every person with the skills they need to effectively represent and grow the membership and take on greater leadership responsibilities in the organization. So again, it's wonderful to hear from Nicole, and it's wonderful to see how people develop and grow over the course of their career.
And oftentimes we'll see members from other unions in the center as well. Talk a little bit about the partnerships that you've made and forged with other unions.
So sort of that occurs in two ways. So in some of our bargaining arrangements, we bargain with other labor organizations, so through the coordinated bargaining process. So there may be members from the Steelworkers Union or the IBEW, and so they might have the opportunity to attend programming at the harbor where there is negotiations occurring for an IAM contract. And so other people have the opportunity to be exposed in other labor organizations to the work that we do at the harbor. Another way that kind of exposure occurs is sort of in the broader international context. So the IAM, of course, is a member of many international bodies.
That's right, Industrial,
International Transport Federation, so many global labor federations. And we've hosted meetings at the Winpisinger Center where they've had the opportunity, trade unions from across the globe, to come together to talk about issues, common challenges, and how we might work together to support workers across the globe. And so that's another opportunity for the IAM and for the Winpisinger Center to have the opportunity to impact, hopefully, these organizations in a positive way.
Is BWI another one? I said
Yeah.
BWI, I got it.
BIW, yes.
BIW, he knew what I meant.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, anytime we have the opportunity to host international visitors, we think that's a really important thing for us to be able to do. It's an opportunity both to share knowledge, but frankly, it's also an opportunity for us to learn here in North America about the practices that occur in other parts of the globe. And again, it helps us understand that, in fact, we're part of a global labor movement, and why global solidarity is so critical to the work that we do. It goes back to the earliest days of the labor movement. A threat to a worker anywhere is a threat to a worker everywhere. And when that was originally sort of articulated, it was primarily focused here in North America. But given that companies now operate globally, as a labor movement, we have to work and think globally. And so again, to be able to participate in those kinds of efforts, we feel really privileged to have that opportunity.
That's right. We can look for opportunities where we can support workers in other countries if they're owned by the same company, and they can support us as well.
Absolutely.
As they have in the past.
You bet.
Well, taking a look back in the past, we do have some archival video of William W. Winpisinger, who was affectionately known as Wimpy because people had trouble pronouncing his name. Well, listen to this.
It was clear to your officers some years ago that absent the kind of a facility like Placid Harbor, we would be unable or certainly handicapped in our ability to teach what we think our leadership needs to know as we work our way into this future, the 1990s and beyond. And Placid Harbor certainly has been the answer to a prayer, a long-term dream, and does give our people a very, very effective running start in mastering the skills that are needed to face up to that future.
Now, he was talking about his dream that he had in the 80s and making sure that they were not only teaching in the 80s and 90s, but making sure that we were prepared for whatever came, well, now in the 2000s and beyond in the 21st century. That vision, what does it feel like being a part of that reality? Yeah,
it's remarkable. Wimpy was probably the only person I've ever met who I would describe as a visionary. That is, a person who possessed the capacity to sort of peer around corners and to anticipate what the future might hold. And one of the things that Wimpy recognized is the world was changing, the world of work was changing, and it was changing at an incredibly rapid rate. And that we had to change as an organization if we were going to successfully advance the interest of our members. We had to change the way people were educated and trained, and to do that in a different sort of way. And he had an idea about how that could be accomplished. And really it was by force of his personality and ultimately the support of the delegates at the convention that the Winpisinger Center was created. But really all of his work was about the future and positioning us for the future.
Does this look like the 80s to you, 80s and maybe early 90s?
Absolutely. I think that photo reflects the time when the center was inaugurated and was first opened. And again, it was just, it was a remarkable period of time in our history and represented a real long-term commitment to education. And we're fortunate in our union that there continues to be real support for education. Unfortunately, we look across the labor movement and we see in so many settings where, education has been minimized or eliminated. And I'm just incredibly proud that our organization continues to support education, continues to value education, and recognizes that, again, it provides a foundation for our future.
This is a great educational benefit that we have being members of the Machinists Union. And we also have partners with Empire State College, with Eastern Gateway Community College. How do you look to the future? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Sure.
What is your vision looking into the next 25 years?
So I think as we think about the future, what I anticipate and hope for us is that we have the opportunity to broaden out our educational offerings, to make sure that our curriculum stays current so that we can train and educate members so they have the knowledge and the tools that they need to confront the challenges in front of them. I anticipate that the technology that we use to deliver education will evolve over time, that we'll use different kinds of technologies, video technologies, online technologies, a variety of tablets and other kinds of technologies in the classroom. So I expect a real transformation of what the classroom looks like over time. One of the things we need to make sure that we attend to is that we have an educational environment that can support all of our learners. And so we have a span of people that are in our programs that from their early 20s to members who are in their 60s. And so again, making sure that we are able to provide support for all different kinds of learners. But over time, I anticipate that our technology will evolve. But at the core of it will be this opportunity to share experiences, one-on-one, to understand that you're not alone, that through collective action, we can transform our workplaces and our communities.
I love that, especially watching mentoring going on.
Yep.
Or sharing of experiences when you have a 22-year-old who is working with somebody who may be 60.
Yeah.
It's just incredible to watch.
So this week at the Winpisinger Center, we have a Leadership 2 program going on, and we always start with orientations on Sunday and ask people to give a little bit of introduction and background about who they are. And this week we have somebody at the Harbor who has over 40 years of membership in the IAM, and we have somebody who's a 4-year member. And we always make the observation in talking about that is for the person who's been with the organization 4 years that we hope in class, they push and ask the question, well, why do we do it that way? And for the person who's been with the organization, in this case, 40 years, we would ask that they share their experience. And we believe out of that dialogue between a fresh perspective and that questioning perspective about looking at the why the organization does what it does, and the sharing of that long experience, real learning can emerge and can occur for the entire group. So that's one of the best things about the Harbor, is that opportunity for knowledge to be shared among the participants. If we do our jobs well as instructors, we ask the right questions, we get the right kind of dialogue going, and we bring that kind of information and create new knowledge among the participants. So again, it's great to be a part of that process.
Okay, I'll let you put in one more plug at the end. If there's anybody who would like to take a class, what should they do first? And you could I'll give you open mic.
Sure. Well, thanks so much. So in terms of the leadership programs, the calls for those will be going out within the next couple of weeks. So I would simply ask that all the president and recording secretaries be looking at their mail and make sure that the membership is aware of those opportunities. Leadership programs are open to all of the members in good standings. Every local lodge makes its own determination as to who to send. But 2019 will be here before we know it. So if you're interested, the classes tend to fill quickly. So I would encourage people to bring that to the attention of their lodge officers. With regard to the departmental schools, again, shortly the departments will be making announcements with regard to the programs they'll be holding at the Winpisinger Center. And so if you have a particular interest either in communications, or maybe you're a federal employee, or maybe you're active in your community service, or you're a young worker and you want to get involved in those programs, or human rights or women's, now's the opportunity. Shortly the departments will be talking about that. So.
Great.
Yeah.
We have more comments coming in, so we're going to pop a few more on the screen.
Okay.
All the people want to give shout-outs to Chris Wagner. Because you're doing such a great job down there. It's wonderful. Let's see, we have Kyle Winkle saying, I was just there for the Veteran Service Program. Outstanding facility. That's something we love to hear. And Ken Prindle said from Local 588, a couple of members at the Winpisinger are currently there.
All right.
So a big shout out to Local 588 there.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Ken, for letting us know. Greg Thompson says Local 57 is in the house, so hello to Local 57. Thanks, Greg. And District 166, thanks, Jose, for letting us know about that. Oh, look at this. Jose, knowledge is power. I love everything about the W3 Center. Awesome. So this is all really positive, and glad to hear.
Yeah, so I feel privileged to have the opportunity to work with the membership in the way that I do. I feel privileged to work with a group of people that are at the harbor. We have a remarkable group of instructors that are really committed to making sure that the members, again, have the skills that they need, whether we're talking about issues of representation or whether we're talking about growing our organization through organizing. But again, it's a remarkable group of people, and I feel very fortunate to be a part of it. And the energy that the members bring, oftentimes you'll hear members talk about, oh, we get our batteries recharged when we come to the harbor. But I want the membership to understand we get our batteries recharged by seeing their service and their commitment to making a difference in the lives of other people. I mean, it's a really cool thing for us to be able to participate in that, to be a part of that.
That's right. It works both ways.
It does. It really does.
Remind us who the instructors are now, because I know from time to time you go through changes.
Sure. So Dave Muscolzi, our brother from Canada, Henry Bagwell from Texas. Then we have Julie Fritchen, who comes out of the airline industry. Then we have Emundo Osorio, our brother who comes from California. Jorge Bonilla comes out of transportation and also from Texas. And our newest addition to the staff at the Winpisinger Center is Douglas Williams. And recently we've expanded the support that we offer in terms of what we do in the classroom and in our library. And Tracy Drummond has joined the staff of the Winpisinger Center. So again, just a remarkable crew, and not just those group of instructors, because they really make a huge difference, but there's a whole group of people that make the harbor go, people that work in the kitchen, the people that work in grounds, people in maintenance, the group that copies all the material. Again, there's just a large group of people. We're oftentimes the public face of the harbor, but if there wasn't for all of these other people who day in and day out just do an excellent job, we wouldn't be able to do what we get to do in the classroom.
They make it feel like home. They really do.
And we really want that. We want members, when they come to the harbor, to really experience what solidarity is all about, to really understand what it means to be a sister or brother. Placid Harbor is their home, and we want them to feel that way when they come to the facility. We're there to serve them. That's our responsibility and obligation. But it's also creating, a positive environment. Oftentimes their work is such a challenge and so difficult. Oftentimes they're getting chewed on, by their employer. It can be a tense environment. And to come to an environment where their work is recognized and acknowledged, I think is really important. And we want them to feel that and to experience what it means to feel like a brother or sister.
Thank you so much, Chris, for stopping by. We appreciate it. Happy 37th anniversary.
Well, thank you so very much, Tanya. We really appreciate the opportunity to do this, to talk a little bit about the work we do at the Winpisinger Center, and it's been a real pleasure, so thank you very much.
No problem. So what do you think about labor education? Comment now to activate your voice about the center we affectionately call W3, or Placid Harbor. And stay tuned for call letters, which Chris mentioned. They'll go out later this month for January classes like Train the Trainer and News Writing. And you can also check the website next month. It's Winpisinger.iamaw.org. There's the website right there. And you can click on class schedules at the top there. It's the second icon. And you'll see the list of the class schedules there for the department programs, the staff programs, and the leadership programs as well. Looking ahead at the rest of our calendar, we have some meetings that are coming up, so be sure to check out the Michigan State Council in Jackson, October 19th to the 20th. The Tennessee State Council is also October 19th in Nashville, Tennessee, and the Indiana State Council, October 26th to the 28th in Nashville, Indiana. I just learned that this month, that there's a Nashville, Indiana. And also, there's still time to register for Guide Dogs of America's biggest fundraiser next month in Las Vegas. Several events take place November 15th to the 17th, including Hogs for Dogs, a sporting clay shoot, and a golf tournament, a charity banquet as well. And this year, the banquet has taken on a more casual feel, so you can visit guidedogsofamerica.org for more information. In terms of today's episode, that's it, but stay tuned. Tonight, October 17th at 7 p.m., you can join us for our second televised Wimpy Awards, named after our former international president, William Winpisinger. We'll honor local and district communicators of the Machinists Union who excel at their craft. And you'll also have a chance to see our photo contest winners. So that's 7 p.m. on this same social media platform tonight. And next Wednesday, we'll speak with Organizing Director Vinny Adio and the new president of LACLA, Yanira Marino. See you then.